Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking, well, one incredible source, the first chapter of Kalki Krishnamurthy's massive Tamil novel, Ponniyin Selvan, and really digging in.
Exactly. The mission, if you like, is to dive deep into this opening chapter, Adi Thirunal, and pull out all those rich details, the tiny things Kalki includes, to properly grasp the world he's setting up.
It's like stepping into a time machine through the pages. Kalki wrote this around 1950, and he actually tells us we're jumping back exactly 982 years from then.
Right. So puts us squarely in the mid-10th century, Chola era.
Yeah, and we're going to land in a specific, really impressive place, witness a particular event, all through the eyes of one character who's just arriving.
And this chapter, it's just packed. History, geography, culture. We're going to try and unpack, well, everything, even the really small stuff.
Okay, let's start with the location then. Where exactly are we?
We're at Vaanar area. And the way Kalki describes it, it's not just a lake, it's vast, like a sea.
Wow, and he gives coordinates, almost.
He does. Tu Katham, that's an old unit of distance. Remember, Tu Katham, west of Thalai Chithambalam, southern part of Thiruminiyapati country, kind of between Vaanar Nadu and Chola Nadu.
And the size, the dimensions he gives are pretty specific too.
Oh, yeah. 1.5 Katham long, north to south, and then half a Katham wide, east to west. For a man-made lake back then, that's huge.
It really is. And Kalki mentions the feeling it evokes, right? Seeing it full of water.
Yes, especially during Adi and Avani, the peak months. He says it would fill you with this sense of pride and just, well, wonder at what the ancient Tamils could build.
Shows incredible foresight, doesn't it? Not just building for their own time.
Exactly.
Wow.
Creating these massive works that would last, benefit people for literally thousands of years.
And it did last. The source notes it's still known today, right?
Yeah, though the name's simplified now. Just Varanam Lake. A living piece of that history.
Okay, and the timing. When do we arrive on the scene?
It's specific. Evening. The 18th day of the Tamil month, Adi. Adi Pathanettam Peruku.
Which is significant
Because that day, Adi 18th, is traditionally when the rivers in Chola country, fed by the monsoons up north, are expected to be overflowing. It's a time of abundance of water.
Makes sense. And the lake's water source connects to that.
It does. It gets its water from the North Kaveri River, which common folk called Kali Dam, devotees called Vadavaru. This Vadavaru River feeds the lake, making it look like, well, like a surging sea, just as Kalki describes.
Now, here's one of those amazing details you mentioned, the engineering.
The canals, yes. 74 canals. Karavaigal.
74! That number just jumps out. Why so many?
For distribution, you see, to spread the water effectively. Kalki says water flowed abundantly through all of them, irrigating, bringing water richness over really long distance all around the lake.
And you could see the result right there in the fields.
Absolutely. Plowing, sowing, transplanting Nadavi, all happening as far as the eye could see. This lake wasn't just sitting there, it was actively feeding the land.
And who's witnessing all this? Let's bring in our character.
Right, our point of view character for this chapter. Vallavarayan Vandiyathevan. He's described as a young warrior from the well-known Vaanar clan.
And we first see him riding his horse along the bank of this huge lake.
Yeah, his horse is tired, moving slow after a long trip. But Vandiyathevan, he's not really bothered by the pace. He's just completely mesmerized by the sheer size and sight of the lake.
So much so that he starts focusing on the details himself.
He does. He actually starts counting the canals as he rides.
Testing the story. Wants to see if that number 74 is real.
Exactly. And after riding nearly 1.5 kathams, which is quite a distance along the bank, he'd counted 70. Almost there.
And as he's riding and counting, what's going through his mind? He thinks about the builders.
He does. He compares this lake to ones from the Pallava era and thinks, well, those were just ponds compared to this. This is like a sea.
And he knows who built it.
Yes, Prince Rajaditya, son of Parantaka, the one known as Madurai Konda Parantakan. It was Rajaditya's idea, his project, designed specifically to capture that excess water from the North Kaveri so it wouldn't just flow wasted into the sea.
Shows his intelligence, his planning.
Intelligence and valor. Kalki adds that historical detail about his heroic death, fighting on an elephant at the Battle of Tukalam, earned him the title Yanai Melthunjia Thevar, the deity who died on an elephant, a figure of legend connected to this feat of engineering.
And this prompts Vandiyathevan to think more broadly about the Cholas.
Yeah, his thoughts turn to the dynasty itself. He sees them as, well, astonishing kings. Valiant, yes, but also righteous dharma is the word used and devout.
And he feels a personal connection to this dynasty.
He does. The source says his shoulders swell with pride, thinking about the privilege of having friendly ties with them. And Kalki uses this lovely image that inner pride mirrors the waves crashing on the bank, pushed by the wind. The landscape and his feelings connected.
So he keeps writing, reaches the southern end of the bank. What does he see there?
He sees where the Vallavarayan River actually merges into the lake. And Kalki gives us more details about the bank's design.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
There's this sloping area inside the edge, the Padugai. And it wasn't just there, it was planted with specific trees, Karuvelam and Valam trees,
Why those trees?
purposefully planted to protect the bank from damage during floods. Smart, right? And thick reeds, nanal, grew along the edge too.
So practical, but also beautiful.
That's what Kalki implies. He says from a distance, the whole scene, river joining the lake, the lines of trees that look like a beautiful painting, that blend of function and form again.
But the scene isn't static. There's a celebration happening.
Exactly. It's Adi 18th, remember? The place is alive with people celebrating Adi Pethanetem Puruku.
Crowds from nearby villages. And they arrived in Pagramas. Well, this is quite a detail.
Isn't it? Pulling chariots made of tender white coconut leaves. You can just picture that, can't you?
Totally. And the people themselves, dressed up.
Oh, yes. Men, women, children, some elders, all in new clothes, various decorations.
And the flowers. Kalki even lists the specific flowers the women wore in their hair.
He does. Thazampu, Sevendapu, Malagai, Mulai, Iruvachi, Shenbagam. It gives you this incredible sensory detail. The fragrance almost comes off the page.
And it's a festival, so there's food.
Of course. Families brought packed food.
Yep.
Kutunkoru, that's a mixed rice dish, and Chitraram, which is like various flavored rice dishes. Comfort food for a celebration.
And how are they eating? Also described.
Yep. Some stood right on the bank, eating from Areka Spade's Kamugu Matai, like little disposable plates. Others waded into the water a bit towards the riverbank to eat there.
Even the kids' games are mentioned.
Yeah. Throwing the used spades near the canals, laughing as the water carried them away. Just a simple, joyful moment.
And a bit of flirting, too.
Seems like it. Some mischievous guys apparently took flowers from their sweetheart's hair, tossed them into the canals, and watched them float out. Little moments that make the scene feel real.
So Vandiyathevan is taking all this in, the sights and the sounds, too. He hears singing.
He does. He pauses on his horse, just listening. Women singing various types of folk songs. Udapatu, Villapatu, Kumi, Sindhu.
And Kalki gives us some lyrics.
A snippet from the Villapatu, basically welcoming the floods, the overflowing rivers. Vandiyathevan hears it as a flood of joy. Beautiful phrasing.
But they weren't just singing about the water, were they?
No, they were singing about history, too. Praising the valor of the Chola kings, bringing the past right into the present celebration.
Which kings specifically?
Well, Vijayalaya Chola, his bravery in 32 battles, wearing his 96 wounds like ornaments. What an image.
Wow. Yeah.
Then his son, Aditya Chola, his valor, and also a song about him building 64 Shiva temples along the Kaveri.
Sure.
Shows that mix of warrior prowess and piety.
And Parantaka Chola. And
Yeah.
Iti's son.
Him too. Sung with real enthusiasm, Kalki notes. His victories over the Pandyas, Pallavas, Cheras, even his campaign in Lanka. And the crowd is cheering them on, shouting, "Hey, hey!" Fully immersed in their history.
It's such a rich scene, and then someone notices Vandiyathevan.
Yes. An old woman spots him, still on his horse, looking a bit out of place perhaps.
And she offers him food. Classic hospitality.
Exactly. "Son, you look like you've come a long way. Tired? Get down, have some kutunkoru."
And this attracts attention from others.
It does. The younger women look over, they whisper about him. He is a young, handsome warrior, and they giggle.
How does Vandiyathevan react to this?
Oh, it's very relatable. He feels shy, but also kind of delighted. He actually considers getting down.
Thinking it might be nice to be teased by them.
Pretty much. He thinks, it's rare to see so many beautiful women together, and even their teasing would sound like heavenly music. Kalki says he saw them as apsaras and manakas, these celestial beauties. Pure youthful fantasy for a moment.
A nice little moment, but something interrupts it.
Yes. Just as he's thinking this, something else catches his eye. A sight appearing in the southwest, on the river.
Yeah.
And it makes him pause.
Oh.
Pulls him right out of that festive daydream.
The mood shifts here, doesn't it? What does he see?
7 or 8 large boats. Big ones. With white sails billowing in the western wind. They're moving fast towards the lake bank. Kalki describes them looking like swans with white wings.
And the crowd reacts instantly.
Immediately. Everyone who is just celebrating, singing, eating, they all stop and turn eagerly watching these boats arrive, the atmosphere changes completely. Tension replaces festivity.
The first boat reaches the bank quickly. Who's on board?
Not revelers. Tall, well-built warriors carrying sharp, bright spears. It's clearly official, maybe military.
And they don't waste time.
No. Some jump right onto the bank and start clearing people away, shouting, "Ponga! Ponga! Go! Go!" Very abrupt.
How do the people react to being ordered around like that?
They move quickly, gathering their things, heading away from the immediate area. They obviously don't want any trouble with these warriors. They recognize the authority.
Vandiyathevan must be wondering what on earth is going on.
Exactly. Who are these warriors? Whose boats are these? Are they royalty? He's as confused as we are.
So he decides to ask someone.
Yeah, he spots an old man standing nearby on the bank, leaning on a stick. He rides over and asks him straight out,
What does he ask?
basically. "Sir, whose warriors are these? Whose boats are those? Why are they driving people away, and why is everyone leaving so fast?" All the questions we have. And the old man's reply, "It's all about a flag."
Ah, yes. He says, "Son, don't you know? Look at the flag on the main boat."
Vandiyathevan looks closer, and he sees.
It looks like a palm tree.
The old man confirms it. It is a palm tree. Don't you know the palm tree flag belongs to the Pazavetarayars?
And that name hits Vandiyathevan hard.
Oh, yes. The source says he asks in a startled voice, "Is the great warrior Pazavetarayar coming?" It's a name that carries immense weight. The old man basically says, well, who else could it be flying that flag? Vandiyathevan just stares, eyes wide with surprise. He knows, or at least knows of, the Pazavetarayars.
And Kalki takes a moment here to make sure we know, too. Who are they?
Right, the brothers. Pariya Pazavetarayar the elder, and Chinna Pazavetarayar the younger. Famous warriors, known everywhere from Lanka all the way up to Kalinga. Big reputation.
Their home base is Pazuver?
Near Urayur, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The north bank of the North Kaveri. And their clan, the Pazavetarayars, they've been renowned for valor since Vijayalaya Chola's time. A long, respected history.
And crucially, they're connected to the royal family.
Yes, through marriage ties. And because of that connection, plus their ancient lineage and fame for bravery, they held basically all the privileges of royalty themselves.
Including that unique flag.
Exactly. That palm tree flag was their specific right, a symbol of their unique status and power within the Chola sphere. They weren't just any nobles.
The focus then shifts specifically to the elder brother, Pariya Pazavetarayar, who is likely the one arriving. His military record.
Impressive. 24 battles he'd fought in.
24?
Yeah. His reputation was legendary. In his time, people said there was no one in the Chola country equal to him in valor.
And even though he's older now, over 50, and not fighting personally, his influence is huge.
Immense. He holds incredibly high positions in the Chola administration. Kalki gives us the specific titles.
Which are?
Anathagari the treasurer, and Thanyathagari the minister of grains, for the entire empire.
Treasurer and minister of grains, that's control over the money and the food.
Precisely. The treasury, the grain stores, they were under his command. He had the power to decide on taxes, collect them, even command local chiefs or wealthy individuals to pay up.
All right. So Kalki spells it out clearly. After the Emperor Sundara Chola.
After the emperor himself, the most powerful person in the whole Chola Empire at that moment was this man, Pariya Pazavetarayar.
And this incredibly powerful figure is arriving right there. Vandiyathevan must feel a pull, a desire to see him.
Absolutely. A natural curiosity and eagerness to see such a famous, powerful man up close.
But something stops him, a memory.
Yes. Just as he feels that urge, he remembers a confidential message. Instructions given to him by Prince Aditha Karakalan back in Kanchi at the new Golden Palace.
And these instructions were serious.
Very serious and detailed. He recalls the prince's words. "Vandiyathevan, I know you're a pure warrior, and I trust your intelligence, so I'm giving you this great responsibility."
The responsibility being the letters.
Delivering 2 letters, one for the emperor, his father, one for the younger princess, his sister. Simple task on the surface.
But the secrecy.
That was paramount. The prince stressed it. No one should know about the message he was carrying. No matter how important they were, they shouldn't know he had letters from the prince.
And specific instructions about behavior, too? Avoiding conflict?
Absolutely. Don't pick fights. More than that, even if provoked, do not get involved in a fight. The prince even acknowledged Vandiyathevan's known bravery, saying avoiding a fight wouldn't stain his honor in this case. The mission was too important.
And then came the really specific warning, the one that hits him now.
The crucial one. Importantly, the prince had said, you must act with great care, Mikat Jakiratayaga, with the Pazuedarayars and my younger uncle, Merarantakan.
Great care. And the level of secrecy required regarding them.
Total. They must not even know who you are. They must absolutely not know Kadipai Theriakudathu, why you are going. The prince had repeated this, hammered it home. So, remembering those words, those direct, emphatic orders, Vandiyathevan's curiosity just evaporates.
Yeah, the desire to see Pasuvatara is gone. Survival instinct and duty kick in.
His first reaction is to get away. He urges his horse to go faster, put some distance between himself and those boats.
But the horse is still tired.
Right. No matter how much he pushes, the horse just plods along slowly, which creates this immediate problem he can't easily escape.
So, faced with a slow horse and the imminent arrival of the very person he was warned to avoid at all costs, he makes a decision.
A practical one.
Yeah.
He decides mentally, okay, plan B, he needs to stop for the night, but not here. He resolves to stay at Kadambur Sambhuvarayar's palace tonight. That's his intended stop anyway. We learn to get a fresh, better horse, and then continue his secret mission in the morning.
So the chapter ends with him trying to move away, making a plan to avoid this powerful figure.
Yeah, that vibrant, festive scene by the lake has completely transformed into this moment of tension, potential danger, and strategic thinking for our hero.
Wow. Okay, what a journey just in one chapter. We've gone from appreciating this incredible feat of ancient engineering, the Viranarayana Eyrie with its 74 canals.
Experiencing the sights and sounds of the Adi 18 festival, the coconut leaf chariots, the specific flowers, the food, the songs, all those tiny, grounding details.
And hearing echoes of Chola history, learning about figures like Rajaditya, Vijayalaya, Aditya, Parantaka, and then understanding the immense power structure with Pasuvatara.
And Kalki just weaves it all together so masterfully through Vandiyathevan's eyes and thoughts. Every detail, whether it's the trees planted on the bank or Pasuvatara's exact titles, it all builds this immersive world and hints at the complexities and potential dangers within it.
But yeah, it leaves us hanging, doesn't it? He's carrying these vital secret letters, and he's suddenly face to face, almost, with the one person he was explicitly warned to handle with great care and keep in the dark.
It throws everything into question right at the start.
Yeah.
How is he possibly going to navigate this? He has to get past without revealing who he is or why he's there, following the prince's incredibly strict orders. And you're left wondering, what is the danger? Why are the Pasuvatariars and this younger uncle Madaratukan singled out like this? It just opens up so many questions about the secrets and potential conflicts simmering beneath the surface of the Chola Empire.